All right, so welcome everyone. As you see, there's a new type of video that I'm doing right now. I've been thinking about doing this for a little bit, interview kind of style. And this is my friend Noella Hebert. She is a lawyer from Saint Louis. And I've known Noella for around, 4 or 5 years now?
Yeah.
And the reason why I want to start doing interviews is to talk to different people and see how they see life and what they've gone through in their own personal life too. So, as you see, there's a little dog here. So if you see or hear a little bit of whining or crying, it's her that wants to play. So don't mind her. So, so Noella has a very interesting story. She has a very different perspective on life because of what she has experienced in her own personal life. And so I feel that this will be a good thing for everyone to be able to put themselves into her shoes. So, Noella, so thank you for doing this. I really appreciate you. I've always admired you and always appreciated our exchanges. So,
You're welcome.
so let's start by saying that Noella has a documentary about her life. And we're not going to go too much into these details because, well, if you're interested in hearing about this side of her life, you can look up her documentary that's online, and I'll be putting the link in the description. You can purchase a copy, and also you can rent. I believe I looked.
I think so.
So if you feel like supporting her and her cause, and I know from what I remember, the documentary, the donations, they go towards, is it prosthetics?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the charity that Noella has decided to support when it comes to her documentary. So if this is close to your heart, maybe you just want to go ahead and do it because this is something that you're aligned with as well. So, I'm just going to go and I want this to be very casual. It doesn't need to be very, it's not a serious thing. But one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you about your perspective in life is because of what's going on in life right now, and you probably hear and talk to people that are struggling, and I believe that you, in a sense, can help people to overcome or to see, in a sense, maybe the silver lining of everything that's going on, maybe. And throughout your life, you've had a lot of challenges, right? It's been very you had very strong challenges, and I would like to say that she's overcame everything. So Noella, you've got a prosthetic leg, and I'm not sure how well the camera's taking this, but she doesn't have a left arm. She has what do you call it? Your little arm or your wing, or I think you.
Yeah, my nubbin. It's
Okay.
a finger that's attached to my shoulder.
Okay. So taking that in consideration right now with everything that's going on and how people are struggling with everything that's going on, and some people are really getting down. How can you relate what's going on right now with what you've lived? So do you see a team that's, in a sense, common, where you, in a sense, when you were young, you had many challenges, and now most of society right now is faced with some very serious or difficult challenges. So do you see some common thread when it comes to that?
Thank you, Marcel, for inviting me today. I think that right at this moment, I should give you a brief overview of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was born with the side effects of the drug thalidomide. That was a miracle drug in the 60s. And my mom that went to see the doctor at the time, I was the last of 3 children. She never went to see the doctor before. She was given that drug from the shelves, and it was supposed to be good for pregnant women and a miracle drug for pretty much all ailments. So she took it, and I was born without a left arm. I have 4 deformities in my good arm. I was also born with a little leg on my right side that just grew out of my hip. So I don't have hip joints both sides. And because of that, of course, I had a Harrington rod placed at 13 because my back was not balanced. I had a lot of surgeries during my life. Up until, let's say, age 40, my life was lived to try to survive in this society that really is created for a normal body. So everything was a challenge, from getting up in the morning, doing my coffee while adult, could have been to go to the washroom, to take a glass of water, to dress myself. It was always a challenge because it took 2 arms to do the stuff, but I had to figure it out by myself because there was nobody around to help me figure it out. Because in my family, they were all able bodies. So my challenges, life brought me the challenges so that I could figure it out by myself, which was beautiful because I've learned to step out of the box and figure it out, using my brain to be able to survive. Excuse me. And as I was going, I had a beautiful family so that they could give me the opportunity to experience what I liked and what I disliked, and what I could do with the limitations that I had physically, and what I couldn't do. So up to age 40, I can say to you that my perspective on life was, I was a victim of life. Life was unfair. Life was unjust. So there was a lot of anger, frustration. Had a lot of childhood traumas that, why me? How come they didn't have what I had? And etc., etc. And I think that everybody lives this, but my degree of living it was very high because I did not have the body as the others around. My question, being in the Catholic religion, it was always, well, God put you on earth like this, and it was always, well, why me then? How come? How come me and not the others? So there was a sense that I was a bad person. And then at 40, I started to have a lot of pain because I was living a life where I was struggling to survive. So if you only have 1 arm and 1 leg, and you have to eat the same bread as everybody else, you need to work twice as hard to get what you need. And everything cost more for me because I had to have the wide door, the ramp, the crutch, the whatever I needed to be able to sustain myself. So I worked all my life. I went to university. It was very hard for me. physically, I mean, and it had a toll on my body until my body said, I can't take it anymore. And the pain started. So that's when I went outside and I said, the medical system is not there for me. The medical system is there for the normals. So I'm just the experiment. And then that's where I did my research and found out that us, the thalidomide babies of the 60s, we were war crime babies because it was a drug that was created by the Nazi and they distributed it after the war. I need to take responsibility for my life because if I want to survive, just like I did it when I was all my life until 40, nobody could do it for me to figure out how to tie a shoe. So I need to figure out my pain because I can't live like this. So really my life at the beginning was really to prepare me for what I was going to live. And so from 40 to, let's say, 2020, I tapped into the alternative medicine and tapped into my inner self, like the wounds, the childhood wounds and the emotions that I was stuck in my body and what created pain. And it didn't come from only the fact that I overused my body. I overused my body because I had a mental state that I had to move the world, and I could not move the world. So it was all tied together. So then in 2020, when the pandemic hit, I kind of said, holy shit, it's happening all over again. Thalidomide is happening all over again with this thing that you're not seeing but you're scared of, and the thing that you're going to have to inject yourself with that you don't know, but what is it going to create? So at that time I was still on drugs that were prescribed by the doctors. With all their hearts they were thinking that they were doing good for me, but at the same time they were just putting another burden on me so that one day I had to get out of or get rid of. And I just threw everything out, and I really, really went into a deep search of what's happening in this world. Everyone is talking the same language. I'm a lawyer. I was hearing if I call the bank, if I called the bar, if I called a colleague, it was all on phones, on people's lips that we were going to have 3 waves, and it was all the same stories within days. And I saw that there was something wrong. So that's where my search, 10 hours, a search for approximately 8 months went on. And I woke up to the outside world, what was going on. And that made me want to take my life into my own hands, because I knew that there was no savior outside of me. There was only me. I could have support, I could have friends, I could have my family, but they could not save me. They could only encourage me. So and then 2002, 2023, I kind of got another awakening. And the other awakening was to see that all of what I was seeing in the outside world was a reflection of my inner world. And my inner world was all my childhood traumas that I had lived, being in a limited body and having all that rage, frustration, betrayal, rejection, shame. That was creating my outside world. And if I wanted to have a different reality, to be able to live it, I needed to let the flow in and heal. So, and that's when I pretty much met Marcel, because we were vibrating kind of the same energy, and we were going through the same process, if I may say so, Marcel. And we kind of were on the same path, but in two different bodies. So we all live different situation or experiences, but we have all the same emotions. We have all the same red blood. So yeah, so then I really got a sense and experienced certain experiences that were, holy moly, I call it holy shoot, I won't say the word, holy shoot moments, like seeing some glitches in what I was living, and I said, oh, this is magnificent. It is. So I consider myself a very happy person, a joyful person. I have all sorts of part of me that I've developed. The fairy side of me, the playfulness, the serious side of me, which is the businesswoman, which is more masculine. I have the nurturing, compassionate side of me, which is the mother in me. And this is my little girl. Her name is Chiquita. Yeah, so we all have different sides of us that we need at different times. And I see that when I go too much in my masculine, which is my workplace, I have a lot of pain that gets triggered, and it is the stress. So the world that I see right now is that whatever you put under the rug in the past that you didn't want to look at it, it's coming out, baby. Mm-hmm. It's coming up really fast. And some people is going to say, oh my God, there's certain things is happening, but it won't happen to the neighbor. Yeah. Because the neighbor has not the same trauma. Yeah. So, but it's happening to you. So we see that a lot on Facebook or whatever we see on the news. We see a timeline going on, or call it timeline, or a frequency, or that people are all stressed up for a certain story that's going on for a certain person. But then another group of person are seeing the positive side of that person. Mm-hmm. It's as if there's two parallel realities that is going on. And I always say, be very, very careful of what you choose to believe, because what you believe, you create as a reality in your personal life. Yeah. So if I want to create that there's a boogeyman out there that's going to hurt us, well, better put your pants on. Yes. Because you're going to live it. But if you say, hey, it's for the better of humanity, we're waking up to the illusion that we were living as victims. Yes. Because me, I'm a creator of my life. I'm here as a manifestation of God, which is consciousness for me. And I'm just living or being lived for God. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do the best job I can so that God can expand and can see through my eyes, through my hand, through my legs, through my senses, what it is to be a human being.
Yes. And through the dog maybe as well. You know. So I just want to go a little bit back, so I want to give a little bit of context. So you became a lawyer, and I imagine that there is a big part of that motivation of becoming a lawyer was connected to the life that you lived up until that point. So what I'm trying to say is basically that you probably saw some injustice in the world, and you wanted to become a lawyer to fix that, in a sense, right? Am I right by saying that?
Yeah. Um, I remember at 8 years old, I wanted to be a lawyer. And it was for the injustice in the world. I thought that I could make a difference, wanting to be part of the solution. So that's why I became a lawyer. And at a certain point, I wanted to be a psychologist too, because you have to do a kind of a 4-year school before you go into law. And it was a big part of me, because psychologist was matching like kind of inspiration person. Because if you sit with me, I'm going to tell you, if you have something that's not going well in your life, I can inspire you to get out of your funk if you want.
Yes, if we want that.
If you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like at the end, one thing that I've noticed, especially recently, is that there's a lot of people that are, in a sense, stuck in a certain perspective, as you said earlier, about seeing, let's say, Trump in a negative light, or there's some people that see him as a savior, right? And then there's other people that see him almost like as a devil kind of thing, right? So, and it goes back to what you said, that we create our own reality, right? And I always say that I think it's in the Bible, they say happy are those that believe without seeing, right? But I see that the opposite way. I see that what we believe is what we see. So if we see that there is good in the world, that we will notice it when it's in front of us. But if we don't believe that there is good in the world, we can see a good act right in front of you, and you won't see it as a good act. You will see it, oh, well, they're maybe trying to get attention, they're trying to, get them to pay him, or you'll make up some sort of story, and you'll say, no, that person actually is not a good person. They didn't do that out of the kindness of their heart. They did it because they want to gain attention, or they want to get money, or whatever. So it just shows, like you said, we create our own reality by what we believe, right? Yes. And this goes back to, I'll just get up here and I'll show a book that I left Noella, and it's called Waking the Tiger, and it's about healing trauma. And I believe that me and Noella, that's probably where we connect the most, is we've experienced, both of us, quite a bit of physical pain in our life. I've had shoulder surgery, I've broken some ribs, I've really mangled my body from when I used to bodybuild. So, and her, the same thing, that with her, she's got some physical pain, and we're both on the healing path, in a sense, right? And we're trying to release this trauma, this pain that we have. And in that book, Waking the Tiger, and I got another book that's very similar to it, is The Body Keeps the Score. And it's about how the trauma, the wounds, is stored in the body. So, for example, my shoulder, when I had the surgery, well, there was all sorts of guilt, because I knew that I'm the one that injured my shoulder, that eventually needed a surgery. So I had guilt, and I had anger, I had shame, I had frustration, sadness, that was all caught up in my shoulder. And then eventually, I don't know what happened with me, but like I started being able to connect with this pain. And then by connecting with this pain, I was able to feel the frustration, the anger. And then eventually I noticed that, well, when I healed myself when I let go of that frustration or that anger, then the pain was very much reduced, right? And it was kind of like, whoa, kind of thing, like I do it to myself kind of thing, right? So, and I'm still not fully healed because like there's certain days that I have a lot of shoulder pain, and but every time that I notice that I have some pain, it makes me realize that I still have some emotions in a sense trapped in my shoulder or my ribs or wherever, right? So I guess me and Nuedo, because of that, I bought that book and I lend it to Nuedo so she can start, in a sense, releasing that pain. Because I know from our conversations recently that you've experienced some back pain, right? So there's still some probably emotions stuck for
Mm-hmm.
you, and hopefully that book will be able to help you in alleviating that pain.
Yeah.
And but it just goes back to how we create our own reality,
Absolutely.
how we create our own pain.
I remember when I was young, my father used to tease my mom and say, "I'm the post of the house." He was saying that. But that was registering in this child when I was young. And I became the post of the house.
Mm.
And the post of the house, where is it? Where in your body you're the post? It's your spine. And I was taking on the emotional of the family. Because if Noella was not well, my dad and mom were not well, that means my dad could not provide for the rest of the family and could not take care of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I always had to be well, even though I was not well. Okay? So that they could do what they needed to do for my two brothers and the family.
Okay.
So I became the post of the house. And at 13, I had the Harrington rod to hold myself up because I was going like this. I could do it, but I did not understand it. 35 years after, they started to take out the rods. I didn't need it anymore because I was healing that. I could not be the post to nobody else. I needed to be me, my post. And then there's another step to that. I needed to surrender to God. God for me is consciousness. It's not a man.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a beard.
Yeah.
No, it's not the religion God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's God of all,
Yes.
the creator of all.
Yes.
It's consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So that God, I needed to surrender and just be, and be more in my feminine side. Because there's a reason why I came here with only part of a normal body. It was to do only part of the doing. But I did twice as much so that I could be the doing that everybody else wanted me to be normal.
Yeah.
But I realized that this is not what God wants here. No. What he wants me to be and just sit down and look pretty. It's just a joke. But it's kind of that, you know? And then just magnetize everything to you. Use your heart, open your heart and receive. Allow. And it'll come in. And this is what I'm practicing. It's magnificent because, just like you said, Marcel, now if I have pain, I sit down, I stop the doing. Because I'm doing. At that moment, I'm doing. Because my cortisone, the hormone of stress is way up. Because I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I sit down and I feel it. To heal it, you have to feel it. So probably most of the time, every time that I sit down to feel it, I'm going to cry because there's sadness coming out.
Yes.
And sometimes it's going to be frustration, and sometimes I scream.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I say, oh my God, my back feels so loose.
Yeah.
The resistance that I was holding on into is all gone.
Yeah.
So I thank God that I brought awareness at the present moment what I had to do, but I'm using my tools, which that I started to learn at 40 up to when I woke up to the outside world. It's it's perfect because I've learned the victim. That was to learn the contrast,
Mm-hmm.
what it was, the shame and all of that.
Yeah.
And then I learned the alternative way, which is all my tools today. And then I'm inside and I'm letting the energy flow.
Yeah.
And if it's stuck,
Yes.
I feel it.
Yes. 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 Yeah, absolutely. And this is like something that many people right now, with what they're experiencing with the whole chaos in life, and it's like you said earlier, this chaos in the outside world is reflecting the chaos that we feel collectively inside. So if we can become at peace and have self-love and self-compassion, you know, be in the present moment, this in a sense reflects back to the outside world, where this is not chaos, in a sense. It's happening exactly the way it is supposed to be, and it's beautiful. But at the end, if we want to see a change in the world, we have to do what Gandhi says, and this is a quote that keeps on coming up with for me lately, is that we have to be the change that we want to see in the world.
Yes.
And the only way that the outside world will change is if we change.
The inside.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So me, now I'm at a point in my life where everything that happens to me, I look at what is it reflecting in me.
Mm-hmm.
It could be I have an issue, a discussion, a conflict with Revenue Canada, and that's part of the authority that's going on inside of me. That was my mom and dad now.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's it was the mask during the pandemic in 2020. For me, it was the rejection that I did not deserve to be here with the body that I had, because I can't wear a mask. Okay? Because I even talked to my doctor at that time, and I said, my head spins when I put a mask on. And if I break my arm, who's going to wipe my ass? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that is more real for me than a virus that I don't see,
Yeah.
that doesn't affect me, that people fear of, that I don't fear.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the doctor understood what I was saying, and I had a prescription that I couldn't wear a mask. But it just goes to show, I've never been able to wear shoes that comes from a store unless there's so many modification on it, or a pair of pants, but then they come out with the strangest mandatory something, and I have to follow, but I've never been able to follow anything before.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the body that you do.
Mm-hmm.
So it was bringing up the rejection, that I'm not included in this world, that I don't fit in. So the betrayal. So I had to go for some help to move that energy out. And as soon as I did that one therapy, nobody was bothering me with masks. I was not attracting that anymore.
Yeah.
I was just smiling. Nobody said nothing. And I passed through. Nobody asked for nothing from me. But the person behind me that didn't want to wear a mask and didn't do the job for that, the work, the inner work, was always badgering, no, don't wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Because they were not doing the work. But I had done the work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm saying I always refer to the movie Celestine Prophecy.
Mm.
For me, it changed my life.
Yeah.
It changed my world. Because I saw that it had everything to do with my frequency.
Yes.
And if I want to have peace, I have to be peace.
Yes.
If I want love in my life, I have to be love.
Yes.
If I want compassion, I need to be compassionate.
Yes.
And sometimes you're going to say, what does it look like? You need joy. You need to feel it to heal it when it comes up. Don't chase after anger to see if you can heal it. No, live your life, and as soon as it comes up, don't put it under the rug.
Yes.
Face it.
Yes.
You go and take your 15 minutes, sit down and feel it.
Yes.
And breathe through it.
Yes.
And look at it. And what's the worst thing that you can see right now? And feel it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just scream it. Don't hit no one.
Yeah.
Don't hurt no one.
Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But let that energy out.
Yes.
That's why nature, they say that it's so good. You can ground your feelings, your energy
Mm-hmm.
in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mother Earth is there for you to embrace it all and transmute it into love.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are on the good path. I am grateful and thankful for what's happening in the world. I know that if you're living it on the other side of the coin as the victim, you're going to say, Noelle, I don't agree with you. And
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Because I was there. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's not easy having somebody tell you in your face, oh, well, it's going to go well, better. And you're living it on the side of the coin that you feel like the world is unjust.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the victim. But I promise you, as soon as you do see the perspective on the other side, and that's why me, Marcel, and many other people that have come to a point that we embrace all obstacle, you want to call it, all experiences, all adventures of the world. See it for the beauty of the divine to show you where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to feel it to heal it.
Yes.
And then you ask for more because this is why you're here. Transmute the negative energy into the positive, which is love.
Yeah, you're basically the program of peace of mind that I'm doing. A big part of it is what you just talked about, where when you feel pain or you feel anger, you need to connect with it. You need to face it, and you need to feel it, right? And I always say that this anger or frustration, sadness, it doesn't matter, anxiety, all of these things are like a child throwing a temper tantrum, and they're just wanting our attention, like, hey, I'm here, right? I'm here. And then most of us, what we do is like, no, shut up, child. And like, we do the same thing with our emotions. We sweep it under the rug, right? And then what happens is that it feels frustrated because we're not paying attention to something that we should be paying attention to, because it is this big elephant in the room that wants us to finally acknowledge that, hey, you have anger issues, or you're sad, you're not happy in life. But what we do is we, in a sense, we swallow it. We push it down, or we sweep it under a rug in the closet, or right, or ignore it, right? But eventually, like, this is like trapped energy, right? It
creates a resistance.
Yes, and then until that we finally face it, we feel it, and then we, like you said, transmutate it. We need to transform this energy, because this energy, it won't go away just by itself. If we don't do anything, we just go about business of our daily life and we don't face it, it'll keep on preoccupying our mind. So it'll always be, in a sense, an operating background, is operating in the background kind of thing of our mind. And all we need is one little thing that triggers us, and then boom, we blow, right? And we see this often now, like, especially, I hate to bring this again, but like Trump, like, he tends to trigger the hell out of people. And he only needs to say something like he wants to buy Canada, and then like we have all this people freaking out about like what he said about, incorporating Canada, and then like, why is it bothering people this much that the US wants to buy Canada? Like, will it change your life, Noella? Will it change my life drastically if the US decides to take over Canada? At the end, these are just like things that whatever these people want to do, they're going to do it. And in a sense, it won't really impact our life unless we make it impact our life. If we resist and we don't like what's going on, and then we can say, "Oh my God, this has turned my life upside down." But
Is there somebody that really, really knows 100% sure that Canada is not owned by the U.S. right now?
we don't know.
We don't know.
No, we don't.
We don't. So, what I see about the racket with Trump is just that everybody had a narcissist in their life. Okay? And he's showing traits of a narcissist.
Oh, absolutely.
Parent.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that's what triggers people.
Yeah.
The bully.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny for me because we are all inside of us, we all have that bully.
Oh,
because we live the system.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the system made us bully.
Yeah.
Because bully has more rights than anybody else.
Yeah.
Okay? You had a bully boss, you had a bully parent, you had a bully brother, uncle, cousin, whatever, friend, whatever.
Yep.
You couldn't put a finger on it back then, but it created something in you that now that people are going, wow.
Yeah.
And me, I find it funny because I feel that.
Yeah.
Bully just means that you're not taking your boundaries seriously.
Yeah.
You're the one that has to step up and get that power going, your chakra, and say no. That's it. No is no. I am entitled to be here just as much as you, no more than you, but just as much.
Yeah.
And it's all good.
Yeah.
But really, there's a movie going on.
Yes.
And I don't care. I just want love to prevail. I want everybody well. I don't want 95% of the people well. I want everybody well.
Yes.
And we see a lot of people with diseases, but as Marcel was saying about the block energies, well, that's why the word dis-ease exists. You're not easing your body, and it's all the stored emotions that you put under the rug that has accumulated to the point that it cannot no more. Just like my story when I was fighting against had secretaries, had buildings to pay. I was having clients. I needed to push the game. I needed to compete with the other lawyers so that I could get by. All of a sudden, the universe said, sit down, child. You had enough. That was not a disease. It was pain for me. And then I had to have surgeries to hold myself up. Surgeries in my hip. Surgeries in my shoulder. Surgeries in my back. Surgeries in my knee. Because I was not respecting my body. I was not taking care of my inner self. And now I take no drugs. Absolutely none for my pain. I just feel them to heal it. And I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to lie to no one, because I don't want to lie. I want to be authentic as you can see me. I'm not saying that I never have pain, but when I do, I sit down and say, okay, what did I do wrong? This is the mastering of what I have to do. What am I doing wrong? Oh, I went too far. I should have stopped at 1 and I went up to 2. My body was screaming at 5 to 1. Can you take a break, Noella? Okay, it's just like you want to go to the bathroom and you say, oh, no, not now. I can't go to the washroom.
Yeah.
You're not respecting your body. Your body's saying you have to pee. Okay? So that's what it is.
Yeah, you're giving me flashbacks of when I used to work out, when I used to bodybuild, I used to abuse my body, right? And it was like to the point where I would do squats or whatever until I would pass out, right? And that is like, in a sense, discipline taken too far, right? And it goes back to one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to Noella is because for me, she is like perfect example of determination, courage, resiliency, and not giving up, right? It would have been so much easier for you to say, well, this is how I was born. The world needs to take care of me, and I'm just going to stay home with my mom the rest of my life, and I want to be taken care of, right? Many people, and I'm sure that there's people that have had similar lives in Noella, in a sense, and this is what they have decided. And I'm not trying to bash these people. It's quite understandable if you're born, with some very limiting things that we could do, that sometimes people will give up, right? And it's understandable. I'm not trying to put them down. But for you, when you were younger, you're very determined. You kept on going forward, and you did not, in a sense, take no for an answer, right? But so you, in a sense, when you were young, you mastered the determination, the courage, and the resiliency. And now I see a little bit more of the surrender part of doing what feels good, and because want it or not, like, you, in a sense, have a lot of pain, and if we're holding on to that pain, and if we keep on pushing through when we should be resting, then you're going to create some more pain, right? So in a sense, it's a balance of both worlds, of between where determination and surrendering meet. And I talk about this a little bit, where for me, determination and surrender, if you can be where these two things meet, you have immense power there. And it's the same as what you deeply want is what wants to happen. So what you deeply want and what life needs is actually the same thing. And if we can meet there, then you have access to unlimited power, in a sense. But I want to just say this right now. If you're going into spirituality because you want to gain power over people, turn around. You've gone the wrong way. If you want to gain power over your own self, right? Never try to impose yourself on other people. But at the end, for me now, it's about, I've talked to you about this in the video I've shared. It keeps on coming up for me that when I used to bodybuild, there was this guy called Bill Phillips, and he said that knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. And he said that applied knowledge is wisdom. So wisdom is doing it, right? But there's something even that comes after that, which is embodying, which is what you were talking about, being love, being, right? So this thing about, like, spirituality is not simply about learning definitions of what love really means and then you stop there. No, you have to incorporate it into your life, and to become love, to become wisdom, to become determination, to become surrendering, and all these things. So, and it's all like it's like life is building upon itself, right? And it's the same thing as what you have created in your life. It has led you in a certain direction, and now that when we are able to look back in our life, we're able to see that we do have a place. Because earlier you talked about how you didn't feel you had a place in life, and that's another thing that me and you have in common. Because when I was young, I remember going to school and hearing people say, like, oh, I hate that person, I hate that person, I hate that person. And I was like, I don't hate anyone. And I remember that night when I went home and I was like crying because I was saying like, what kind of world is this where like people just hate each other just because of the way that they are and they didn't even do anything to them, right? And I felt like I don't belong here. What am I doing here in this crazy world, right? Well, I'm here to embody more compassion and embody more love and to in a sense like break that loop that some people are stuck in and to be hateful or to be, for me, a big part of the thing that I need to break is self-worth. Because again, there's still some residue left on that I don't belong here and I don't really have a place. But by doing what I'm doing now, I feel like I do have a place. And with everything that's going on in the world now, in a sense, spirituality is going to become more and more important because of, well, everything that's going on, because everything is coming to a surface and stuff is no longer being, the rug is full and it's...
That's absolutely right.
Right.
We're at a point where we need to change. We need to go with the change, or we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
We're not going to make it because all the stored energy that we have in our body is being reflected in the world as a collective.
Yes.
And there's people right now that are living a very peaceful life. There's people out there that never lived the pandemic, that never is not living Trump, because they have done the work.
Yes.
And they've cleared all those judgments. If you judge someone, there's a part of you that you're judging of yourself.
Absolutely.
You're not accepting one fragment of yourself. And trauma does not mean that you were hit by a car or abused. Yes, it means that, but it could be a spider that you jumped and you detach. You created a program to be able to survive that trauma as a kid. That's why you're scared when you're adult of spiders. And that can be for all sorts of things. Dad screaming at the neighbor, you're scared. And then all of a sudden, somebody that screams beside you, you're freaking right out because you have a program that means danger.
Yes.
So we're seeing our childhood go on it. I'm sorry to say, but all politicians are all little children that were traumatized, that are playing out their childhood.
Yes.
And we have that to take care of our country. I'm sorry, but I don't need that to take care of our country.
Yeah.
No, I did not. This is not democracy for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I want to make sure that if I give money to help somebody, I want to make sure that those people are being helped.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but anyways, it's a story in itself, but I'm seeing a great movie played out. And I think everybody's looking at their mirror right now. And if they really want to, they can heal.
Yes.
If they really want to, they can have the best lives ever. Because once you wake up to this beautiful journey, oh, it's magnificent. Every day you can't wait to get up and say, what's going to be the surprises and the lights today? And it doesn't matter. It can be your car that doesn't start. It's not, oh no, it's, oh my God, what did I do to that car? Okay, I'm part of that car. That's my transportation. So, okay, I sit down and all of a sudden my car starts. I have an effect on everything because everything is energy. Energy is not destroyed. It's just, I don't know what transform. Transmutated. So, it's a beautiful word.
Yeah, transmutation is something that I've been delving into a little bit more again now. It has to do with alchemy. And at the end, alchemy, when most people hear about it, they think about, well, turning lead into gold, right? But in essence, the alchemy is very symbolic what they're talking about. So obviously we know that the world kind of reveres gold as this precious metal, right? I'm not trying to say it's not. I'm not trying to say it is, but we see lead as this kind of like base metal that doesn't really have much value. So alchemy is about transforming the lead into gold, but in reality, alchemy is about transforming that energy that you have. The lead is heavy, right? And like the gold, it represents the sun. So basically, it's about transforming your consciousness, about transforming that energy, and to put it in a sense lighter, for it not to be heavy anymore, for it to be light, not just like a light, the sun, but like light and not heavy, right? So that's at the end of the core thing about alchemy, is about transforming your own consciousness, about transforming the way that we see the world. So when I was young, I was very angry, right? And I remember this anger was very heavy, right? And until that I dealt with it, well, after I dealt with it, it no longer was heavy. And I transformed it into, in a sense, motivation. I transformed it into, determination and resiliency and courage, right? So these things, obviously, determination is not as heavy as anger, right? So we're all, the thing is people say, oh, well, I'm not able to do that. Well, you're doing it on a day-to-day basis, and we don't even know about it. And you can do it just simply by, oh, look how beautiful that bird is. Before 5 minutes before, you were like, this life is miserable, and then all of a sudden you see a bird, and then you transform that. But we don't notice because like we're, in a sense, still sleeping. We're still, we're not awake. Or I'm just going to ask one final question, and then we can go whatever direction you want to go. What inspires you?
What inspires me? The one thing that comes to mind, what inspires me now, is the knowing that I'm manifesting for God. And I don't want to let myself down. Because inside of me, there's the self, which is the connection to God, and there's my ego. And I want to integrate both of them and do the best job that I can to bring the frequency of love in my life, but on a constant always being in it. So what inspires me is that knowing that I'm the creator of my life, and I know that it can be lived. It can. But it's not going to be necessarily easy, but it could be. I'm open. But what inspires me is just knowing that we're all on the same, we're all living the same life of remembering who we are. And we each are a reflection of God.
Yes.
And I just want to do a good job for God.
Yeah, I like that. You're reminding me a little bit of a few things. So we talked a little bit about healing, and there's many people, and I'm not going to name names because you know them too, but many people that believe that healing is hard, healing is painful. for me recently, again, it goes back to how we create our own reality. It is only hard because of how attached that we are to the thing that we're holding on to. So if we're holding on to our anger, and then we say it's painful to release my anger, well, it's painful because we're attached to the anger. So what I'm trying to say is that how painful it is, how difficult it is directly proportional. Okay, you understand what I mean? Directly proportional to how attached that we are. And if we can let go of being attached, it no longer is painful, it no longer is difficult, and we just take it all in stride. Because we believe that it is difficult, and because we believe that it is difficult, we make it difficult, and we make it painful, right? And it goes back to some times that I've had healing happen where it wasn't painful at all, but it was pure bliss, it was pure, it was so beautiful, and it was, right? And so, like, the people that are, in a sense, going for ayahuasca, and they puke their brains out, and they say this is the only way that a healing happens is by purging and by sweating and by, all this difficult trip that you're going through, and this is how healing really happens. Well, because we believe that that's how healing happens, we make it so. So it doesn't have to be, healing doesn't have to be done by ayahuasca or mushrooms or with a therapist, or you can do it yourself, right? Where we talked about God, and we talked about religion, we talked about government, and I said this, and we talked about money too. And I said this, that we did not believe that we had a spiritual connection. Okay, so before, let's say, like, I don't know, 1,000 years before, 1,000 years from now, anyway, 1,000 years ago, we did not believe that we had a spiritual connection. And because of that, we created religions and churches to show, in a sense, that there is a spiritual connection, because we believe that the spiritual connection was found in church. That's where we used to go to connect with God, right? And now, with religion fading, we did not believe in ourselves, so we created the church. So we did not believe in our spiritual connection, so we created the church. And now that we've started believing in ourselves and our own spiritual connection and how we don't need the church anymore, the church is fading. We did not feel that we had the potential to live in a society like this, so we created the governments. And the governments were, in a sense, all powerful, and they were able to build roads, they were able to build all this infrastructure and everything. And now that, in a sense, it has showed us that we can accomplish all these roads and all these, interconnecting things, such as manufacturing, stores, and everything that brings bread to your grocery store, right? So now, because we started finally believing in ourselves that we are able to do this without government, the government is starting to lose power. And then, long time ago, we did not believe that we had worth. So we invented money. And then money showed us that, well, if you work 8 hours a day, you're able to get something that is worth $20 or whatever, right? So we did not believe we had worth, so we invented money. And now that we are starting to believe in ourselves, money's starting to fade away. Understand where I'm going with this?
Absolutely.
Right?
As we heal
Yeah.
the chakras,
Yep.
and we get that frequency up,
Mm-hmm.
the outside world is shifting.
Yes.
So when we were in our survival,
Mhm.
we needed the government, which is authority.
Yes.
We needed church for connection.
Yes.
We needed all that outside money and all that.
Yes.
Now we're getting up there.
Yes.
It's fading away because we are seeing that we are the government.
Yes.
We are God.
Yeah. Yes. And that's exactly what I finished with yesterday. What I said, like, we created this God that's in the sky,
No.
just to in a sense, like to believe that something is all powerful, right?
But it's outside of us.
Yeah, it's outside of us.
No.
But more that we're realizing that we are the creators of our own life. Now the whole image of God, the bearded God in the clouds, is starting to fade away, and we're starting to embody that power within.
Yeah, we are the authority.
Yeah.
We are the money.
Yes.
Because we are valuable.
Yes.
So I don't know how it's going to look like outside of me, but I know that what I'm worth,
Mm-hmm.
which is all the money in the world, and as you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, and my passion is to inspire people to do just like me. Well, that's my chakra here, the creative side of me. So, and the connection, well, that is the connection that I have, the messages that comes to me, that you can call them thoughts or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
I have a thought, I act on it, then I balance my two energies.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't go and act on something that I don't know if it's going to go.
Yeah.
That's when I hurt myself.
Yeah.
And that's what I did in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have to go and lift that brick. But I can't lift that brick. But my mind was saying that I had to lift that brick.
Yeah.
But if I would have sat down and waited, maybe somebody would have walked by and said, hey, do you need a hand with that? And that would have been the lifting of my brick.
Yes. Yes.
You know? So that's the balance. You only have to look at in nature, and the balance is there.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't see it before. Because we have to live. We had to live the contrast.
Yeah.
Me anyways.
Yeah.
I hope you don't need to break all your bones and
Mm-hmm.
hurt all your body to understand what I understand today. Because I would have done it differently.
Yeah.
If I would have known. But at the same time, I wouldn't have the wisdom that I have today.
Mm.
Okay? So it made me who I am today. And that's not even counting my past lives. I believe in that because energy is never destroyed. It's only transmuted.
Mm-hmm.
So my soul has had a lot of lives. Because if I'm a creator right now, it means that I created this body. It means that I chose my parents to make sure that I had the experience that I lived.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, it means that to have chosen a body like this in this era of time, I wanted to have a hell of a ride.
Yeah. I can totally relate to that because, like, for me, life has been like quite a freaking ride. Like, I cannot understand how I went from a person that had extremely low self-esteem, was angry all the time, was anxious, and didn't feel that I had a place in life, saw this world as a messed up place, right? And I could use another word instead of messed up, but I think that you all know what it mean, what I'm trying to say here. And now flip that totally upside down, where I feel that I have a very important role to play, that I have found peace, that I feel secure and I feel confident in myself. And I feel that this life is absolutely amazing. This life, we can decide to, I don't know, be a druggie. Okay? We can decide to be a druggie, or we can decide to go totally the other direction. Like you said, the contrast of, like, we can go towards like a totally destructive life if we want to, right? Or we can go and become a total health nut, right? And for that health nut, this is heaven in a sense because like they're really taking care of themselves. They're going in the direction they want. But also there's some people that they want to be a drug, and for them being able to get drugged up is like heaven for them. It's like, oh, right on. I'm gonna get hammered again today. And of course, I'm not encouraging you to become a druggie, but I'm just saying that all these possibilities that we can get ourselves into, we can create anything that we want in life. We can go in any direction. Is total freedom. We have the freedom to go wherever we want, whatever direction we want. We can do whatever we want, and this is absolute freedom that we can decide to go wherever we want. And this is absolute freedom, and it's heaven because we're free. We can do, you can do.
There's no right and wrong. If you ask me, I could have stayed in the drugs that they were giving me, and I was talking about suicide back then, and I could have landed because I was working in a hospital bed in my office in electric wheelchair that was going up and down, and legs and arms. I couldn't move anymore by pain, and I could have gone that road. And today I can tell you that if I would have been living now, I would have been in a nursing home because I couldn't do it anymore. But I chose. But did I choose, or my soul chose?
Yeah.
To say, okay, girl, did you have enough?
Yeah.
Now let's live. Let's see the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
So this is where you said just a few minutes ago, after this question, I'm going to ask Noella if she wants to go somewhere else. So my question is, are we being lived? Is it the soul that just says, okay, now I want to experience this, but I need a body for this?
Yeah.
So you have lived all of this, you gain some wisdom, so let's go in another direction.
Yeah.
Let's see, what are you missing? You want more love in your life? Let's go and have a love life now. Or you want some money? Let's go experience money now.
Yes.
But you lived homelessness almost, or you lived and you thought that you did not deserve it and you were not worthy. But let's say you know now that you're worthy. What are you going to do? But you couldn't be that before because you probably would be broke now because you did not have experience of being without money.
Yeah.
So everything is perfect.
Yeah.
And the love life, well, being beaten up in a relationship for some is love.
Yeah.
But for me, I know the difference.
Yeah.
Because I live the contrast.
Yes.
I know what I want. So I would never accept somebody disrespecting me or bullying me around or not wanting me to grow and to expand and to be God's child, God's extension here, always in love.
Yeah.
So I know now what I want, but it's magnificent. I can't wait for the next chapter for me.
You made me think about a lot of things when you're talking about relationships. I think I've shared this with you. If not, it's going to be something new. But relationship not that long ago, let's say like 7 or 8 years ago, I was with someone that basically said that they were in total love with me 1 minute, and then the other minute they wanted to run me over with their car. And after the relationship was over, I found out that they had cheated on me the whole relationship. And I wasn't where I'm at right now. At that point, I was like, what kind of people are this? And blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of like pointing the finger towards her and what's wrong with her. But then like a few years after, I was like looking myself in the mirror. I said, what part of me attracted this? What made me go for a girl that would cheat on me the whole time? So how did I create this? Right? So, and I know this is something that you know very well about how, that we are the mirror, right? The mirror is reflecting where we're at, right? So, yeah, it just reminds me about that, and how, like, again, we are attracting what we are, or what we need to learn, right? Because, like, if we're being mistreated in a relationship constantly, and I've talked about this in a couple of videos, where psychology knows this very well, that if you are someone that has been in abusive relationships over and over and over again, you can bring this person and you put them, and they see a lineup of people. There's like 10 people right in front of us. They didn't say a word to each other. They don't know anything about anyone in this lineup. If there is one individual in that whole lineup that is abusive, that person that is usually in an abusive relationship, they will pick that one person. They will say, that one's attractive to me. Right? Well, it's the same thing as that child that is screaming out for us to finally pay attention. Like, this is a pattern that you're stuck in, that you haven't learned your lesson yet, and then because you haven't learned your lesson yet, you're keeping on attracting this type of person, and it's reflecting on how you feel about yourself, right? And that point where I was with that girl, I didn't love myself. I did not believe that I deserved a good woman. Well, that's what I got. I got somebody that cheated on me and that was wanting to run me over with their car. So it was just simply reflecting how I felt about myself.
Exactly. The same thing for me. When somebody, if I meet somebody that they betray me, let's say that they promise to be here at 9 o'clock, and without notice, with no excuse, they don't come. I waited for them all day. I don't point the finger at them anymore. I say, okay, hey, Noella, where did you promise yourself something that you didn't follow? Oh, God, that's true. I said that I wouldn't eat today, and I have it in my mouth. So if I can do it to myself, anybody can do it to me, because I don't even respect myself.
Yes.
So then I send them love. I feel it to heal it. Oh, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I thank you and I love you. Thank you for showing that to me. And then that person either disappears from my life.
Yes.
I don't see it again.
Yes.
Because I only created that person to show me where that layer of the onion was still there.
Yeah.
You were talking just a few minutes ago about people say that it's hard to heal. But we have to remember healing comes into layers.
Yes.
Okay? It's a spiral.
Yeah.
And at the beginning it's going to be hard.
Yes.
Because it's very dense.
Yes.
It's all the stuff that you put under the rug that's really deep. Don't all in the fibers.
Yeah.
But as you cry and you scream and you detox and you move it up, it becomes less and less and very much easier.
Yes.
And then you have another perspective on your healing. You can see that it's not healing anymore. Oh, it's just a shower now. We peel that onion peel. Okay, I'm going to live that flow a little bit more. So life is all with stages.
Yes. Yes.
And is Chiquita telling us something?
I think that we can start wrapping this up. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about? Is there anything that you would like to say to people that are struggling right now with everything going on, with how right now in New Brunswick, if there's happens to be people that are not from New Brunswick that are watching this video, we're experiencing quite a difficult time when it comes to MB Power. Right, there's a lot of people that are getting bills that they don't know how they're gonna make ends meet, and this also, the whole world right now is going through the same thing when it comes to cost of life, and and also everything that's going on with the conflicts. And is there anything that you want to say to people that are scared, or to try to give them hope? Or?
Whatever you're going through, know that the person beside you is going through something, but it may not be with any power. It may be his property tax, his rent, his food bill, maybe it's the babysitter cost, maybe there is a situation for everybody. But the one thing that I can tell you that could change, that will change, is gratitude. If you can wake up in the morning and say 10 things that you're grateful for, and I'm going to name them. If you want to take that list, you take my list. I'm grateful for the air that I breathe right now. You have lots of that. I'm grateful for the food that I can eat today. I'm grateful for my little baby that is with me. I'm grateful for my bed that's so comfortable. I'm grateful for the heat that I'm feeling in my home. Doesn't matter if it's a shed. I'm grateful for the feeling of peace that I have right now. I'm grateful for the car or the bicycle or the buggy or my legs that brings me from point A to point B. I'm grateful for the eyes right now that I have. And if you don't have eyes to see, you have a mouth to talk, or you have ears to hear, or you have hair to brush. Just be grateful for all the little things, even the cry of my little dog. Be grateful and say it in the morning. And put a smile on your face, because that triggers the hormones of joy in you. When you smile, smile at yourself. Nobody else. Give that smile to you. And we're always here because we are the living, breathing new generation.
Yeah. And you don't have to, but if there's anybody that would like to get in touch with you, are you willing to leave an email or to let people know on how they can reach you, or if they have any needs for legal advice?
Well, legal advice is kind of I call it my old self, because it was when I thought that the world was unjust. But now I don't think it's unjust. Now I navigate the system. That's what I'm there for. I'm semi-retired, but I can inspire a rock to move. Okay? So find me on Facebook, on Messenger. My name is Noella Hebert. And if I can, always with respect and self-love first, if I can, I'm going to respond to you. We can have a coffee, but I'm not going to talk with someone on the other side of the world that I don't even know if it's a robot or not, and it's just going to take my energy.
Yeah.
I want to be for my people here, because we need each other here. It's really cool and jiggaloo that we have gurus in the States and in Egypt and India that we'll never be able to see. But I want to be here for my people. Because I live the same traumas as everybody here. That's why we have been born all together here. There's certain things here that we need to transmute. Yeah,
I agree. That's probably the biggest part of my life, is that I've, like you said, transformed a whole lot of energy that used to be very stuck and very dense. And for me, enlightenment is very close to what I feel is the path that I'm on, and this reflects on my channel name, Enlighten, right? It's a play on words on enlightenment, and it's not just because of bringing the light in here, but again, like I said earlier, about letting go of the weight that we carry on our shoulders, and And I'm just going to finish off by saying this, that if we can take off that weight that's on our shoulders and learn the lessons of that life has brought us, we can take that weight off our shoulders, we can put it under our feet, and we can use these lessons as stepping stones as we go forward. So, yeah, I think that is basically it. And I want to thank you again, Noella, for agreeing to do this. It's been very much fun. Maybe in the future we'll be doing some other videos. Maybe some people will want to hear us talk again. If so, now you have something that you can record your own videos now. And if you ever feel motivated, you can start your own YouTube channel. And anyways, that's it for now. I thank you all for watching, and until next time.
Thank you for inviting me, Marcel.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That was fun.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye to you.